that, and when necessary, report it, because you cannot be in fear of your job because you've been appointed to do a particular function or a job. You're not to please the particular personality who may appoint you. Because remember now, people have carnal nature, and the problem I've found out is this. You've had some people who simply say they have never done anything wrong. Now, when I hear that kind of nonsense and foolishness, I have to tell you quite frankly that such people, you cannot trust them. And yet there are those who are trying to tell you to trust them, and they've never repented. They've never repented of things that they have done wrong for decades, but they're still talking about you must trust them. I'm very suspicious of such persons. Institutions in this country must learn that they have to repent of their wicked, evil, abominable ways. See, a lot of you don't tell them that, because you yourself may be participating in the wickedness that they're involved in. The point is, when you're given a particular function or responsibility, you will know, or you ought to know, what rules you're to operate under, what authority you have, and you work within the guidelines of the authority that you have. You don't try to make anybody look small. But the particular personality or group that may appoint you should not be keeping you in fear. You're looking over your shoulder every time that you do something. See, I was appointed to this position here by management. I don't have to be looking over my shoulder that management may be thinking this or management may be thinking that. There are certain rules and regulations I am required to work within. And I have no problem with that. But I also have constitutional authority as well. And too many of you simply keep looking over your shoulder to see what a particular personality or a particular grouping may be thinking. See, when I'm on air, I'm not thinking about that. I want to be honest and upfront, reliable, dependable, responsible, and of course, trustworthiness is important too. Because I'm going to be calling on you to do some things, Bahamians, and you ought to know whether Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson is saying to you anything that is not constitutionally sound or anything that is contrary to statute law. Now, you got hundreds, if not thousands, of statute laws. So many of them, even the people who wrote them don't remember them. But I'll tell you this. What I do is every single one has to be examined in light of the Constitution. That's very important. Now, if you don't know the Constitution, that's a big problem, Bahamians, and many of you don't know it. It has been so for more than 50 years. We cannot keep cowering to personalities who are either appoint you or you have a position of responsibility and you're always looking over your shoulder to see what that particular personality or that group may be saying about you. You should have no fear, Bahamians, as long as you operate within your assigned duties and responsibilities. Don't go out of them now. See, one thing with me, I'm going to stay within the Constitution. And I can tell you of persons who are violating the Constitution. And if they think I am wrong, then tell them, challenge me. That's all. Because some things are happening in this country, Bahamians, that are not benefiting us as a people. We have to fix it. And you cannot keep making excuses. Oh, well, I need this job, or I don't know where I can go if the fella take the position from me. Do you trust God? Do you rely on God? Do you depend on God? I'm going to give you an example of something that happened to me just recently. I was attending our church service a couple of weeks back. And I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, my whole body went cold like ice from the crown of my head to the bottom of my feet. And I said, well, I got to go and get to check my doctor, my personal physician. I have a good confidence in him that he would do a good job. But I needed help right away, Bahamians, right there and then. I mean, my entire body was cold like ice. I've never been through that kind of experience before. I hope none of you have to go through that because Bahamians, it is not a nice feeling to go through. For the first time in my life, that has happened. I hope it never happens again. I don't know why it happened. And then I remembered the book of James where it says, is any sick among you? And I was listening to some things on the radio today about cancer and some other things that affect Bahamians. And the persons on the radio station were saying how challenging it is, how difficult it is to maintain good health. And my mind ran on the book of James, James 5:14-16. And it starts off, is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church and let them come and anoint him with oil in the name of the Lord. I don't know how many of you people believe that. Because it tells me in the scriptures that Jesus was bruised for our iniquities, meaning by his stripes, the very lashes, the brutality he got on his physical body, those bruises, those cuts, and they were some deep cut wounds, so much so that he lost plenty blood. Those stripes, scripture says, we are healed by the stripes of Jesus Christ. So what I did was I asked one of the deacons to call one of the elders of the church. And I was anointed and prayed for right there and then in the office of the pastor. And I went home, I thought I was going to have a long sleep. But in less than 2 hours, I was up. And that icy feeling left my body from the crown of my head to the bottom of my feet. Even my bones went cold. I don't think you would want to experience anything like that. Now, what caused it, I don't know. But I know one thing, I was able to get rid of it quickly. Within less than 2 hours, it was gone. Just as if nothing had happened. I had to shake myself and say, is it really gone? Yes, it was gone. I tried to get to see my doctor on Monday, but I didn't get to see him until Thursday of the next week. That's when I saw my physician, and I told him what had happened. And then, of course, he examined me very carefully, physical examination. Now, some of you men don't like to go to doctors. We have to stop that foolishness because we have to be physically examined. Jesus himself said, they that are sick need a physician. That's what the man tells me. So it is good to have a physician that you have confidence in, that you can talk some matters that affect men, which are very personal. I don't want to discuss that with the women. I prefer to talk to another man who understands how men feel. All right? Because some things are very sensitive, and you have to know who you're talking to when you are doing that kind of thing. But I have confidence in my physician, and he examined me thoroughly. And he said, you have a clean bill of health. Because I had to tell him what had happened. So there were those in my family who said, you should go to the doctor. But I'd already determined in my mind that I was going to go see him, even though I knew that the problem was over with that Saturday when I went to church. Less than 2 hours later, I was up on my feet and ready to go. But it's always good to check with a physician. Now, I heard a lot of things that were being said on the radio today about health. Scriptures tell us the prayer of faith shall save the sick. That's, that's just one aspect of it. And if he have committed sins, that's referring to me now. If Professor Thompson, Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson, let me give you the full name, had committed sins, they shall be forgiven him. So you get physical healing, that's one. That's a blessing from God. And also you get those wicked sins washed away by the blood of Jesus. So you get two blessings in one. And God has that available to anyone who believes what he says. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to your doctor. Don't misunderstand me. Because some of you have a lot of confidence in your doctor. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I have confidence in when God tells me something. He say, call for the elders of the church and let them pray over him and anoint him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick. But I couldn't get to see my doctor until the following Thursday. That happened on a Saturday. Then the following Thursday, I saw him. And he gave me a thorough examination. He said, you have a clean bill of health. And that problem hasn't come back yet. I hope it doesn't. Because Bahamians, it is not good to be an ice box. Just like my whole body went absolutely cold. Even my bones, I felt my bones were cold. But yet everybody around me, they wasn't feeling anything. They say, what happened? I say, maybe it was the air conditioning in the church. But it wasn't that at all, because I went back next Sabbath and dressed the same way I always dress, a different set of clothes, of course, and I didn't feel anything. It was sunny, but that Sabbath my body was very cold. So that is an answer to prayer. Now, that's free of charge, Bahamians. You don't have to. See, God has these things available to us when we get sick. We try to not get sick. And sometimes some things just happen. You have no control over it. But this is one that I had no control over it at all, period. And you never know when something is going to happen. Maybe it was a lesson for me to learn from, and I think I'm going to learn well from it. But God says in his word that he will heal you. It doesn't matter what health problem you have. The question is, do you trust him? Because it says the prayer of faith shall save the sick. And I am sympathetic to those women who were on there, the doctor and another lady, and they were talking about cancer and how they went through it and they're conquering it, overcoming it. That's fine. That's all well and good. And there are others out there who are afraid, chemotherapy and all the other things that they do to try and assist persons who have various health problems. Some have diabetes. And that is a major problem in our country. And so we have a lot of sick people in this country. We have to learn how to stay well, Bahamians. We have a small population. I think we had another murder last night. That was very sad to hear that in a churchyard or in front of a church on Fleming Street. There's a church on Fleming Street. And the thing is that this particular individual was murdered according to reports that I heard on the radio today. We have some very serious problems, but we got a serious problem with sickness, ill health. With all the tremendous atmosphere that we have in this country, why do we have so many people that are sick? And I'm talking about people who have been sick for a long period of time. That's disturbing to me. And they will have confidence in their doctors, fine. They take the medication, fine. And some people do not see any improvement in their health. And of course, you have some things that can help you. I eat a lot of coconut. Now, coconut is a natural fruit. We got that in abundance. I don't have to buy any coconut. You could make so many things with the coconut. It is healthy, it's nutritious, it doesn't have any of them funny things in it. You get things from overseas and you bring it here. You don't know what those people put into it. All you do is go right in the yard and pick the coconut. When the coconut see you ain't come, he drop from the tree and say, here I am. A lot of us don't use plants and fruits and vegetables that God has put in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Now, you know there's a big problem with food. We don't pay attention to the berries. We don't pay attention to the natural fruits that God has given us to keep us healthy and strong. We do all kinds of funny things. Of course, God tells in His Word there's some things you don't eat. Some of you like to eat a lot of things that God say don't eat. And some things I stopped eating for almost 60 years ago. I just don't bother with them anymore. Your body has to heal. And sometimes it takes time for the body to heal. Now, there are times when God can miraculously heal you. As in my case, where this intense cold came over me. I don't know what caused it. But the thing is that miraculous healing is available for people who are sick. And I'd like to encourage people to follow James 5:14-16. Call for the elders of the church. Now, some of you can get vexed with me and say the elders this, the elders that. Don't worry about that. When I went to my pastor, I wasn't worrying about what his spiritual condition was. The man tell me, call for the elders of the church. That's God's clear-cut instructions. The elder can't heal you, He is an instrument that God will use. All you do is follow what the man say. But a lot of us don't do that. So healthcare is said to be very expensive, and of course it is expensive, particularly the way how the world operates. So we have to do our best to stay in good health. And this was a long time before I was anointed, because basically I try to stay in good health as much as I possibly can. But this is something that occurred to me. I was not even prepared for it. But I'm glad I got over that particular problem. It didn't cost me anything to be anointed and for healing to occur, because God promises you that, Bahamians. And I need you to use that. Because some people are always concerned they don't have enough money. A lot of us don't have the money to pay for these things that are being charged. So God say, no problem. I can fix this for you. You just follow my instructions and you'll be straight. And I want Bahamians to do that, because a lot of us are stressed out, don't have the money to go to a particular hospital or to have a particular surgery performed on them. It's very costly, very expensive. That's the way it is in this world we live in. But God says, I have a remedy for you. Don't worry about that. You just do what I tell you to do, and things will work out for you. So we have to have confidence in the stripes of Jesus Christ, because He paid the penalty for all sicknesses, all diseases. Some people have cancer. Some people have diabetes. Some people are lame. They are not able to walk. Some people have blood problems. Some people have liver problems. Jesus had His body cut open for every imagined disease you could think of. He said, I did that for your benefit, so you could be healed when the time comes. And I think a lot of you need to take that under consideration, because I know it's very stressful when a person is sick and they see the bills piling up and they can't get well. They're taking medication and somehow it's not working for them. It causes stress. It causes problems for themselves and the family. And I know one doctor, Dr. Philip Eiler, told me, say, don't get sick. Stay healthy. And he told me that some years ago, and I always remember that. Now, some things can happen, like what happened, like I told you to me. I didn't have any control over that. I wasn't even expecting it. But some things can happen suddenly, and sometimes God allows it to happen to teach you a lesson. And I think God is showing me that I needed to learn something from that. Thankfully, it didn't last for too long. Thank God for that. Because you wouldn't want to be in an ice box where your whole body is so cold that, it makes you extremely uncomfortable. But that's over with and finished. So I hope that people out there who are sick will take God's instruction very seriously. Don't mind about the elders. Don't mind what they do or they don't do. That's nothing to do with you. God will take care of the elders. It's not for you to be snooping around and say, well, I won't go to him because he this and he that. And God didn't say that. He said, call for the elders of the church and let them come and anoint you with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith shall, not might, not could be, not maybe, shall save the sick. That's one blessing. And he said, and if he had committed sins, that's them sins what we commit, they shall be forgiven him. That's what your scripture says, right there in the book of James. So I'll just leave that right there. And of course, I hope that it will bring some relief to a lot of people out there who are hurting. And I was touched by what the lady said they are doing, and I appreciate the hard work that they are doing. And Bahamians is very hard work, trying to help people who are sick. It's not easy. And then finding financial assistance to help them when they need that financial assistance. Because a lot of people do. And the bills keep piling up. And then people don't know where to turn because money is in short supply. That's another problem again. We got to find out how we can resolve that problem and have sufficient money flowing so that when we need to get things, we can have the money to do it. Now, another thing I want to discuss is about the murder that occurred last night. And Bahamians, I'm saddened that we have a constant problem in the country about murders. A lot of our young men keep dying. They're not getting as young as I am, and I'm very disturbed over that. And we have to find a way to fix it. Now, one person cannot do it of himself or by himself. I think what has to happen, and this is just my personal view on this, someone has to know who these people are, who they can have confidence in, who they can talk to, not to take up with any wrongdoing now. I don't mean that. But someone has to be able to reach these people who are committing crimes. We can't just sit back and say, woe is me. There's nothing I can do. This is an old cliche that Bahamians have been saying for more than 50 years. There's nothing I can do or nothing we can do. Bahamians, and I would always answer back, there's always something you can do. Something is happening in your family, there is something you can do about it. Something is happening in your community, there's something you do about it. Something happened in the nation, there's something you do about it. So don't talk no foolishness about, woe is me, there's nothing we can do, or there's nothing I can do. Come off that, Bahamians, because that has been hurting us for more than half a century. You got to stop that foolishness. We just have to find the people who they would have confidence in. I'm not saying that the people who they will communicate with would take up for their criminal activity. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who would have probably put Pampers on them, who know their background, know their family, know their brothers, know their sisters, who can speak to them in a language that those people will understand. Because it just takes a certain set of people to do that. Not everybody can do it. But I think you should start with those people first. And of course, you have people who are professionally trained. They can render assistance as well. Because Bahamians, we got to stop this crime. We can't keep hearing every day someone is dying from murder. It's not a good thing at all. Just imagine if we were at war with another nation, what do you think would happen? And our blood was being drained like how it is in Sudan or in Russia and Ukraine. It belongs to a lot of people, Bahamians. And I think we're losing too many just from the murders alone. And then, of course, we got all these accidents. Where all these accidents coming from? And the kind of penalties that are being meted out for the loss of life of persons who have been snuffed out. I wanted to use another word, but I don't think that would be appropriate. Whose lives have been snuffed out and they get a light fine of less than 2 years or 2 years. 2 people die. I think they're supposed to pay a fine too. I don't know. And if they don't pay the fine, what happens then? You can compel them to pay the fine. $10,000 or $5,000 for life. You see, this is why I keep saying, Bahamians, we got to do something about these outdated laws that we are using, which have no value to us in 2025. And so people just turn up their nose when it comes to law and order. Instead of us being a disciplined people, I heard people on the air today talking about the lack of discipline. Yes, there is a lack of discipline. And the Constitution says a national commitment to self-discipline. We are an undisciplined people. We need a national program to deal with the fact that we need a disciplined people. There's a way to deal with that, Bahamians. But it starts with the individual. Is the individual disciplined? It means that you do the right thing even when nobody else is looking. And you're not a disciplined person if you tell me all the time you did nothing wrong. You think the police force has always been perfect in everything that it said, everything that it did? They never made any mistakes. They never went contrary to the law of the land against the Bahamian people. You mean to tell me they never made any mistakes? It must be perfect. Don't sell that crap to me because that's not true. I'll never believe it. Do you think the immigration department is a mistake? It's perfect? That everything that they sent out, everything they have done, everything they've said, and I never heard any department of the government of the Bahamas, not even the government itself, has ever admitted to doing anything contrary to the Bahamian people. And they have. All of them have. I have had evidence the government has done things contrary to the Bahamian people, which are not constitutionally sound. Well, let me get off on that today. But when you do not admit when you're wrong, Bahamians, that creates a major national problem. There are all kinds of commissioners sitting in the chair. Green Slade was there. And then you had some others came after him. Now you got the first woman commissioner. But it just continue. So what's happening? What's the difference? And they're supposed to have independency in those office of commissioner. I hear the music in the background. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. That means we got to open our minds to what's going on. And when a government or a department insists they did nothing wrong, that's a big problem. Because they're always doing things that are wrong. Because they never see the error of their wicked ways. That's why the country's all messed up. I have to tell myself, I have to correct myself from time to time when I'm in error. We all have this carnal nature in us. We got to overcome that. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson. The lines open 3260271, 3260272, 813-0271. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this. Whether you're shopping for Mother's Day, Father's Day, back to school, or any occasion for that matter, you are sure to find exactly what you're looking for at the Brass and Leather Shops. Great products like handbags, wallets, backpacks, luggage, belts, shoes, and more are awaiting you. Brand names at the best quality and reasonable prices. Land, Rioni, Kipling, Guess, Travel Light, Herschel, and more. Shop any of our locations. Downtown Charlotte Street, Mall at Marathon, and also the luggage store at Palmdale. Be sure to shop Brass and Leather Shops. You'll be glad you did. Bahamian feel-good food in the right atmosphere. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever you choose. It's the Cricket Club Restaurant at Haynes Point, West Bay Street. The food is off the chain. Bahamian breakfast. We talking stew cow, stew fish, and sheep tongue sauce. And for lunch, crab soup, okra soup, and pea soup and dumpling. Man! And for dinner, they got mahi seafood platter or steak and shrimp. Only $28.95 per person. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Cricket Club Restaurant. Call 326-4720 for reservations. Oh, and don't forget, there's a live band, The Magic Touch, every Friday night. Hey, Shoe Depot has what you and your wallet need. They are stuffed with stylish and exciting footwear, handbags, wallets, and accessories for all occasions. Shoes for the professional, casual, cute and glitzy, skid resistant, and ultra comfortable for those long work days. Shoe Depot has got you. Oh, and be sure to join our Shoe Depot Rewards Club for extra savings and earn points for special benefits. Visit either of our two locations, Golden Gate Plaza or the Palmdale Plaza. At Shoe Depot, you'll find the best selection of the best styles and at the best prices.
At Audio Plus, we carry a large selection of DJ and audio products like speakers, mixers, microphones, car audio players, and much more. You can also find a wide selection of musical instruments like marching drums, Junkanoo drums in a wide variety of colors, trumpets, clarinets, trombones, Yamaha keyboards, and Fender guitars at special low prices. Visit Audio Plus on Soldier Road, located in the Cary's Plaza. Open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Phone number 394-6668. Audio Plus, your #1 music store.
I Dream of Sugar, your happy hour spot, where every day is a celebration. Big Mood Mondays, $1 wings, beer buckets, and BOGO cocktails. Tipsy Taco Tuesdays, tacos and $10 margaritas. Wine Up Wednesdays, carnival vibes with specialty cocktails. Throwdown Thursdays, $1 wings, beer buckets, and BOGO drinks. Flirty Fridays, sip $10 sex on the beach, and more. Social Saturdays, 3 for 2 drinks and platters discounted. Sunday Fun Day, unwind with $1 wings and unbeatable specials. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Sugar Rush Lounge at Bay and Market Street, just across from the Straw Market, where every day is a reason to celebrate. Sugar Rush Lounge. Call 603-2792.
From South Beach to Bay Street.
I'm pleased, I really dig your company.
It's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM Bahamians. We have a number of issues that we need to deal with in this country. And I implore you to become involved. And I'm going to say to the women's groups again, this is National Women's Month. And I'm going to open the invitations very wide for women's organizations throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to participate this month, because we want to hear from the women. We had some women last week, Thursday, last week, Friday. And the discussions were very good. In fact, I learned something from one of the women who said some things to the men. Caller, don't go nowhere, just hold on. And I didn't understand it until she had put it across to the men. Some things women have understanding that we as men do not know or do not feel or may not fully understand. And it takes a woman's touch to cause us to see it a little differently. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Professor.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Yeah, so sad with the young man last night, you know.
And this happened in a churchyard.
Yeah.
In front of a church, right on Fleming Street.
But before the end of the week out, he gonna be caught because I know somebody see him riding on a motorbike,
Yes.
and
They
but
said someone was on a bicycle too.
yeah,
Okay. So
it is so sad to see that
yes.
we are just fighting against our own selves for
No,
some
but it's
reason
not
or
good.
whatever. I don't know the circumstances.
No, we only can go by what was reported in the press,
That's all
on
we
the
can.
radio.
Yeah, that's all
We
we
don't
can
have
do.
all the
But
details.
when we look at per capita, there are more churches in this Bahamas than I believe in America.
Yes. Per capita, yes.
And yes, still, we have all this problem because people are not going to maybe call some pastors or whoever to come and or go and talk to. And like they don't have no confidence. I don't know the reason. They don't have no confidence because I don't, but we get so much of these name called pastor, bishop,
Yes.
apostle,
Evangelist.
evangelist.
Yeah. But
And if they are not carrying out, are they are not, God is not using them to demonstrate his power through,
yeah.
or they only name themselves, give themselves
Okay.
these names,
But
but no power.
But what,
And
what
we
I'm
see-
what I'm saying is these young men who are committing these murders, right? Someone pinned diapers on them, grew them up, and somewhere along the line they went astray. Now, I am suggesting, and this is just my personal view on it, that we have to find people who can communicate with them very strongly and have some degree of influence to bring them out of a life of criminal activity.
yeah,
Okay, now not everyone can do it. Now you have some people who are specially trained in different areas, psychologists and so on. That's fine. But I believe these young men have to have someone or some people that they have confidence in, who they can talk to, and they won't have to hear their business on ZNS or any other radio station or TV station for that matter, or out in the public domain. Because I believe in too many instances, even with this modern technology, we're using it for wrong purposes. We're not using it to bring people together, to heal the nation. Now, there are people who can communicate with these persons who are committing criminal activity. And I think we have to start with them. This is just my personal view now, to get to these people who are creating all of this unnecessary trouble. We have to find a way. Now, I said the best way to help the police is to be law abiding. Then the police could concentrate on some other things because they're
yeah,
overworked
yeah.
as they are now, and they're not able to give me the kind of protection that they ought to give me. They're so busy chasing after criminals and people who are out on 2 murders and 3 murders and probably even more. Okay? And it is not working. It is of no benefit to the society, but yet the authorities are still doing this foolishness. And then when you hear about them again, they end up found them on the side of the road or somewhere gone.
Um,
And that's
um,
not good. That doesn't help the families
yeah.
who've had their relatives murdered.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead,
Another thing,
caller.
Professor,
Yeah.
we could solve these problems overnight. The community,
Yes.
most everyone knows somebody on their street.
Yeah, they do.
Now, people are afraid to call the station because the station pick up your ID, phone, and you have to leave your name and who you is and the next thing. People don't go through all of
No,
that.
I am
You understand?
displeased.
So
I'm
then
displeased.
when the young officer, he maybe know the person what did the crime and they say, boy, look up for Joe. Joe called the station. You understand? These things
No,
are
I
being
understand you.
said.
Yeah.
And people are very afraid because if they don't have no protection to protect them,
Yeah.
then they're putting their family life out on risk because they
Oh,
can
yeah.
say, yeah, I hear you call the man for
So and so.
for me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So people are see. So in other words, you need people in this country who you really could call and give information to, and that will be on ice. You don't hear that no more.
Okay.
And this country will be could get cleaner.
Yeah.
My last two point is they caught that Haitian 49-year-old going to Cape Haiti with $60,000.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
You see, he taking where the money may be his own, I don't know. Now, he going to carry that money back to Haiti.
Okay.
You see, he's trying to build up their economy. And it seemed to me like Elon Musk and the president, they have all kind of car in the front of the White House. Like, they selling, I try to figure if they selling cars.
Okay.
Because this how bad the White House going down now. And with the president, he's inside the car and saying how good the car look and all of that.
Okay.
And he's saying if anyone talk against Elon Musk's car, they go into jail.
That's what he said?
Yes.
Okay.
You see? And now, because America, the people are not buying his car like they were doing.
Okay.
You see? So when I look at that, I say, if the Bahamian people will stop patronizing some of these business places,
Yes.
they saying this, hiding the next thing. If they will stop buying, then the man will force to go down on this price. But because all we do is just talk, and no
I
action.
do nothing about it, yes.
And this is the reason why you go in a food store and you come out with nothing. If they would boycott these some of these food stores, and they will see a big whole change and stuff like that. Thank you so kindly.
No, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Yes, the caller made some very good points, and he's very much concerned about the criminal element in the country, and people don't feel safe. I'm disturbed by the mere fact that the police can see my number, which is supposed to be protected by the telephone company. And I'm not happy with calling a police station, and every time you call, if this is true, I got to find out whether that is so or not. To the officer, stay on the line, caller, don't go nowhere. I just want to make this point. The officer on the other end is able to identify my name, my number, and everything like that. I'm not comfortable with that at all, period. So I may have to find an alternative way of dealing with that, because I'm paying money to have the numbers kept confidential. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes,
Caller?
blessings in this most divine nation of the Bahamas. Berenice Johnson, the original. You have had a spiritual attack, Mr. Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson, with that symptomatic condition that you had in the church, you said, right?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Yeah, that was a spiritual attack. Thank God you still have a soul, otherwise you would have been crossing Jordan. Anyhow.
You're terrible.
I am a blessed woman. No, don't say that. Don't speak that on Berenice Johnson, the original. I come with unconditional and unapologetic brutal honesty. Now, the attempt to, or the plot to put a vote of no confidence in this prime minister is only another act. This prime minister, Philip Edward Brave Davis, let me specify, is only an attack on the citizenry to try to destabilize this nation called the Bahamas. And the pilot project is concluded now, and I can authoritatively say, on behalf of Her late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, because she don't want me to speak about no king, even though I must say good afternoon to His Majesty King Charles III and Queen of Consort Camilla.
Okay.
They are mandated now to share a portion of the comprehensive report by the best Minister of National Security, Minister Wayne Monroe, because they can access all of the recordings that I tested 919, which I share with you all day before yesterday, I think it was.
Yes, ma'am.
However, we must first bring forward the dignity of humanity to each and every constituency, every dwelling home. The people who are out and saying that their mortgage is overdue, the
Yes,
banks
ma'am.
cannot put them out. And that will be shared on the Prime Minister, because these younger people, they disrespect the older people, call them, say when they're 16, they're old. That was done by one. He had to be under deadly coercion, one FNM doctor. However, I must say that this Prime Minister shall hand over this nation, whether they steal the election from the Progressive Liberal Party or not. It has to be done so our people will not experience the malicious form of deprivation that was intentional by the attempt again. You see the reenactment of that attempt to throw the mace out of the window and all that sort of stuff. There are external forces that was behind that. That's why that question you asked, nobody can answer, because it happened under Sir Lyndon Pinling, under Mr. Ingram, and Mr. Ingram thwarted it, my mortal boss, of course. And Mr. Christie, they couldn't get him to call no snap election. It happened under Mr. Minnis, because he was not really politically savvy. And they were trying to do it under this minister, or this Prime Minister. And the monies, when they call this snap election, is stolen electronically for the purpose of the LGBTQFS financing in all of these nations. Okay? I'm not asking you. I had to play the role of a lesbian, and there's no woman, no former woman parliamentarian, none. I can speak authoritatively to that, and this nation shall not go to that. Now, if they want to be same-sex marriage, do it in their privacy of their home. It will not be a part of this biblical discipline resolve in this nation that shall be handed over properly by this Prime Minister, Philip Edward Brave Davis, and the Progressive Liberal Party. Okay? And good afternoon to Her Excellency for life, because the late Prime Minister, Sir Lyndon Pinling name, shall be cleared by President Donald John Trump. Don't mind what the President Donald John Trump doing. He's a man of great wisdom. He was first the universal Miss Universe pageant, and we have that information. The Royal Bahamas Police Force, the best on planet Earth. Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I just wondered when this is going to be coming about, when the people are going to be given this relief that you keep talking about.
It's mandated because the Victorian order ought to have brought around the financial.
Do they have a time limit on this now? Because
they must present. Two, because the Parliament is headed still by the British monarchy, and that is constitutional.
So when are we going to see this relief for the Bahamian people?
Well, the constitutionally sound thing that they will do is to present first the conclusions, because there's two cases for His Majesty King Charles III that has been closed. The paparazzi murder of the late Princess Diana and the impersonator of his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II. That happened here in the 85 Shogun, October of 85. I, Berenice Johnson, was the one who was dealing with this. And that is why the deadly plot has been uncovered and on record in the police 919 control room.
But do you
think
that
we will get our money as soon as the Prime Minister presents the facts? It's closed now. No more investigation. So I'm not going to be repetitious. So you listen out, the Prime Minister. he has to move along with the Governor General, God's anointed appointed 12, Dame Cynthia Alexandria Pratt, and her deputy, Mrs. Cooper, Ruby Ann Cooper, darling. God bless this wonderful nation called the Bahamas. And you, Mr. Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson, you must become from the authentic Johnson to fight off that demonic attack. God
Okay.
bless you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your interest. Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to know, when is this financial relief going to come to the Bahamian people? Because we've been waiting for more than 50 years. And I don't know what the report is all about. Of course, Berenice Johnson has information that I don't necessarily have because she says she has been intimately involved with some things. And I just hope and pray that whatever needs to be done will be done very quickly. She talked about this particular personality in the office of Prime Minister handing over whatever it is he's supposed to hand over to the Bahamian people. And I don't know about that. But, you have a 5-year limit. And I think 3 years has passed. We're in the 4th year now. And I always asked, but she said no one has been able to answer the questions that I asked on the air. And it's really disturbing to me that no one can give a definitive answer as to why we have all of these problems and we're not solving any problems. What is the purpose of having a government in the first place? Why have them? Why have people in office who can't do anything? What I've seen is a lot of finger pointing by the various entities that have had the opportunity to govern. I mean, this spans more than going all the way back to 67 Bahamians. You're looking at almost 58 years, I think 58 years and one month or 2 months, as the case may be, all the way back to January the 10th, 1967. So the thing is that, there has to be relief for the Bahamian people. Where is this relief? Where is this financial relief? She said people will not be put out of their homes, but a lot of people are being hit hard with these mortgages. The banks don't pay any interest on any money. I don't know why that has stopped. We have no relief from that. And of course, the high cost of living. I think Berenice would understand that because she lives in an area where, and I too live in an area where we got people just struggling trying to keep bread on the table. So the high cost of living, that needs to be resolved. But it's the duty of the government of the Bahamas to deal with that. Now, we have had all these personalities, I think 5 persons in the office of Prime Minister. And what we have seen over these many years is a multiplicity of problems. Why? And this is why I asked the question about the Royal Bahamas Police Force. What major criminal problems have they resolved for the Bahamian people? Not what they try to do now. I'm interested in that. I'm not interested in what they're investigating. Because it looks as if they're always investigating and then we never hear the end result of it. But of course, Berenice has a different view on that. I'm looking to see whether we could get some things resolved once and for all. We're almost 52 years as an independent nation. And of course, some of you have difficulty with that we just self-govern, but we're not independent, which is nonsense and foolishness. The Constitution says we are sovereign, independent, democratic, theocratic state. Do we believe it? Yes or no? Because we've done some things that are wrong. Now, if a government keeps telling me they have done nothing wrong, then I got a problem with that. I have a serious problem with that. If the police force keeps telling me that they have done nothing wrong, I got a serious problem with that. You have carnal-minded people in the police force and in the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. You can tell me they did nothing wrong? Give me a break. Only a fool would believe that. I know better than that. Because carnal nature is very wicked, very evil. It doesn't want to admit when it's wrong. And since my conversion more than 54 years ago, I know what I'm talking about. That flesh is rotten. It is extremely wicked. Jeremiah 17:9 tells us that. Desperately wicked. We have to conquer that, Bahamians. So it's not an easy thing to do the right thing because our flesh tells us, no, don't do that. Go the easy way out. So when you see people in authority do not want to admit when they're wrong and they keep putting this lie out there that they've done nothing wrong, because that's what it is, a pack of lies. I have a serious problem with that. It would be better for you to admit it and ask the people for their forgiveness. But you're an unrepentant group of people. Almost 52 years has gone by. You know how many people have lived and died in this country over that 52-year span, and you keep telling them you did nothing wrong? And you believe that piece of crap? I don't, because I know it's not true. The man just say, in fact, we got the tape right there, but the man said we're a nation of laws. I go, Mr. Belusi, you could put that tape. Let me know when you have that tape in the thing so we could play that. We're a nation of laws. The laws ought to be obeyed, including what he's doing. But don't tell me a nation of laws and then people keep violating the law and there's no penalty being meted out. What do you expect law-abiding citizens to do? Just keep having lawbreakers violate their rights, violate their constitution, and then we just relax? No, man, it can't be like that. We need a national government that can enforce the laws. I've known no commissioner that says he didn't have the things to enforce the law. And the more you look, you see more and more criminal activity in this country. And the police is supposed to be the chief agent for the protection of the people. Are they up to the task? Because people have to question the police. Can you trust them? A lot of people say they can't trust the police. When they give information to the police, how do they know that who they're speaking to is going to keep it confidential? Maybe we ought to call Crime Stoppers and leave it there. If that is confidential, I don't even know if that's confidential. But when you tell me the police are going to be saying my number and I call them, I have a serious difficulty with that. And I am reluctant to call the police after coming to that understanding. But I'm going to check with BDC and see whether that is so or not. I'm very unhappy about that. Because you don't know who's on the other side of the line. It could be a criminal in a uniform. Don't talk no foolishness in my ears. People are fearful for their lives. Can you blame them? If you cannot talk to people in confidence, and I know a lot of people have told me a lot of things, I can't even discuss it with myself. You know, you got one fellow who got 2 positions and very big positions. And that particular personality has to speak to that one who has that position and speak to the next one who has the other position. It's the same person with the 2 positions. We like to make a mockery of things, you know. We got to stop this foolishness. We must learn to admit when we are wrong. That is a big, big problem in this country. Mr. Producer, you can let me know when that tape is ready. I want to play that because that's some words from the Prime Minister. But be that as it may, Bahamians, we have to get our act together because we have too many criminal activities in the country. Too many of us are sitting silently by, and we're not helping the situation. Some of you go in your little corners, you have your little clique, you gossip and talk people business. Nobody could trust you. Because when people tell me things in confidence, I can't discuss it with myself. I can be like that other fellow who got two positions, and he look at this one, and then he say, I got to talk to that one, and I got to talk to the other one, see what the other one say. And it's the same person in the two positions. You hear any crap like that? This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. The lines are open, 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. We want to hear from those people in the family islands like Inagua, Andres, Meguana. We need to hear from you, Bahamians. We got all this technology around here. You can make that call. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Do you love fresh flowers at low prices? If so, come into Pedal Pusher's Elegant Florist, your event planner. We can't wait to help you with that perfect bouquet or basket for that special person, or book us for your significant life event. We specialize in decorating yachts, weddings, proms, funeral events, and so much more. Create that smile by visiting us on Bay Street, opposite the old Hotel Corona, or call us at 326-2663 and place your order today.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
Why does Bahamian shoppers know when times are hard and things are tough? It's more sensible and convenient to shop at Y-Care's Fashion Center. Y-Care's has slashed prices on brand name clothing and shoes by up to 50%, including academics, Clarks, polo, and hundreds of jeans and dicky pants. And as much as 70% on selected items. Choose from a large selection of beds, sheets, rugs, and towels, all at affordable prices. Y-Care's in 3 locations to serve you: Bahama Avenue, Prince Charles, and East Street South near the Sir Charles Hotel. Y-Care's, where you can afford to look good.
Boy, I need this fridge, I need that stove in the corner there, and I think I might need that washer too. Why in the world I gonna pay for all these things?
No worries. At Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center, for a limited time only, we've got in-store financing with 0% interest and a 50% down payment, and easy weekly payments as low as $20 a week. We make it possible for you to take home what you need today.
So you telling me it's a weekly payment of $20? Just $20?
Yes, and here's all you need to apply: your job letter, a pay stub, a valid ID, your utility bill, and a stamped salary deduction form.
Boy, that was such a wonderful experience. I got everything I needed, and I didn't even break my bank for it.
So what are you waiting for? Visit Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center on Mackey Street today and take advantage of our hassle-free in-store financing. Your dream home is just one application away.
Contact us at 698-0123 or WhatsApp 557-2522.
Bahamas Liquidation Auction Center,
where you say hello to goodbye.
From Cable Beach to Montague, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself here. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We wanted you to express yourself on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. That's why I'm here every day, Monday to Friday, to express, to host the show. You know, you have to say what you have to say. And I enjoy this work. I am delighted to be here. And I want to help Bahamians. I want you to help me. Like I said on July 8th of last year, one major constituency problem to be solved in your particular constituency. You just choose one of the many problems your constituency is involved in. We can get that fixed in 18 months, Bahamians. Let us not waste any more time. We've already lost 8 months. We're in the 9th month now since I made that announcement. Okay? So we have to get serious about what is happening in the country. This is one way to help the government. Call it, stay on the line, don't go nowhere. This is one way to help the government of the Bahamas because they got some real problems, man. They perhaps don't know what to do, but we can be helpful to the government of the Bahamas. One, by knowing our constitution, knowing when they're stepping out of line, Bahamians, because they don't say they don't do nothing wrong. So when a government says they're not doing anything wrong, I have a serious problem with that because that ain't true. Somebody lying to me. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you there?
My time?
Pardon, I didn't hear you. Yeah, go ahead, caller. Caller, go ahead, please, if you're on. Caller, you there? Mr. Producer, look like I don't know if we call is on. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Oh, I didn't know it's my time. Good afternoon,
Yeah,
Professor.
go ahead.
Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
man.
Good afternoon, Bahamas.
Yeah, thank you.
Professor, anytime I set my things up, man, and the conversation is switched. Well, let me say my thing in place.
Okay.
But this new government, they ain't fighting and taking nobody out till 5 years. All right? No matter what I say, man, I be mad. We waiting till 5 years, and we got the record on this. We gonna watch out for that 5 years, or we let you stay. We ain't doing no violence. Must say that, and just must say that, and put that on the record.
Okay.
But listen, I sit down in my own mind. I say before we get health care and food security, we'll get legalized weed. I don't know who's giving these people advice. First, I can say it one more time. Before we get food security and the national health program, we'll get legalized weed. And Professor, my main problem what I have, right? We in the Bahamas, we have the best program going on in this Bahamas, right? I don't know, these have the best things going on, and someone is getting power to move it. Let me tell you something about the police plan. People, I think it's we just foreigners. I could be wrong. Say they could call the police, and the thing was so safe. First, I will tell you how it was. When you call the hotline,
yes,
you call the states, right?
Uh-huh.
And they bring the thing to the mission and police. You safe. You ain't got nothing to do with that. So I don't know who messed with it, who touched it, like the birth certificate. I don't know who touched it, but that was safe as a bat. You go to the hotline and you tell them, you say what you got to say on the hotline, and they send that. That's in the States. They send that to the mission of police. Now, how that get corrupt like that? First, I go on.
So wait, hold on, wait. Caller, don't go yet. You saying that there's interrupting with Crime Stoppers?
Oh no. Like we had this set up. I've been here a long time. I won't say I use it, but I've been here a long time. Okay, listen here, Professor. Listen here.
Okay.
If you something happen, right? You call that hotline.
Okay.
That ain't him. You say what you got to say, right?
Okay.
And they send it down to the thing up. So ain't no nothing. No one to say corruption there. First, let me say it again. You call the hotline and you say what you got to say. John, Harry. That's in the States, and they send that here. So ain't nobody know your name. Nobody know nothing.
Okay.
You know what I say?
Well, I think
but
I got to
when
use
people
that
get
one.
power, they just corrupt everything.
Oh, okay.
Fair use, education use only. That's your have a blessed day.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I like I said, I'm very disturbed. If I call the police and they can see my number, I'm not comfortable with that. Particularly if the number is supposed to be private, and I'm not happy with that at all. Because see, I don't know who I'm talking to on the other side of the line. It's supposed to be one you're supposed to trust, but you got some funny things happening in the country today. But let me just play this clip about the Prime Minister who made some remarks about the country having laws. Go ahead, Mr.
Decision is based upon the fact that there's a belief that we're engaging in forced labor by hiring humans. Our laws, starting from our constitution, prohibits that kind of engagement. So this government will never intend to engage in any forced labor. It's against our laws, and we are a country of laws. But we've indicated that we review. We don't think that we have done it. We are not doing it, and we will review where we are and get back to them in due course.
Okay, well, I am happy that the Prime Minister said that we are a nation of laws, and he mentioned the Constitution. It's not constitutional there's this arrangement with the Cuban government to bring in nurses, and I think they have some doctors in here as well. Apparently, from what I understand, he is saying that perhaps there are some people who look at that as being forced labor. Well, there's an agreement that they have. You're not compelling them to come if they refuse to come. But it's an arrangement between the government of the Bahamas and the government of Cuba to have these people work in the Bahamas. And I can go along with him so far as he said that we're a nation of laws. But I want the Prime Minister to know that there's some things that the government of the Bahamas is doing that is not constitutionally sound. I know that for a fact. And he ought to know it also. So if we're a nation of laws, then it must be applied across the board, not just in certain instances and circumstances. Now, a lot of people don't know about the Constitution. This is a major flaw, and I have to find some other alternatives to deal with this. It's a very serious problem. It's a national problem. And I'm calling on you to support the initiatives that I would be involved in, my team would be involved in relation to the Constitution now. Okay? Because we have all kind of foolish things happening in this country because of a lack of understanding of constitutional law. I heard another personality on the radio station today talking foolishness and nonsense. Article 2 of the Constitution says any other law that is inconsistent with this Constitution shall prevail. And the other law, to the extent of its inconsistency, is null and void. You got to wait for a court to tell you that when it's already in the friggin' law, the supreme law of the land. Now, of course, some people have taken action against the government of the Bahamas, laid it before the Supreme Court over a year ago. We haven't gotten a date yet from the Supreme Court to hear that case. Does that nullify Article 2 of the Constitution? It does not. We believe that they ought to move quickly in dealing with that case because it's of national importance. And the outcome of that case can affect the entire country, either positively or negatively. And those who were behind it are responsible for making it happen have taken a giant leap forward, but it needs the support of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to get it to be done, to get it to work. So you can't sit in your little corner and rock your chair and say everything will be okay, because it doesn't work that way, Bahamians. It takes a fight. This is a big fight that we're involved in. And I'll be calling on you to support it because we need the Bahamian people to understand the danger that we're in. We're in very dangerous waters, Bahamians. And those who have been in authority running this place for more than 50 years are the real culprits behind everything. Whether they have unseen hands, I don't know nothing about that. But I know one thing for sure. The ones who were given the authority to run this place, we know who they are. The question is, do you have responsible leadership in this country? Yes or no? Are they constitutionally sound? Yes or no? I don't need no court to tell me that. The Constitution already told me that. I can look at the crappy laws that they have passed in the House of Assembly and line it up in light of what the Constitution says, and the Constitution tells me any other law or any agreement that they sign or anything they're involved in must be looked at in light of what the supreme law says. That's what I do, Bahamians. I don't need to wait for no court to tell me that. But some people out there talking crap, talking foolishness and nonsense. Yes, there comes a time when you have to take legal action. We have done that. I tell the court to get busy and look at the case and start giving us justice, since we are a nation of laws. I saw when the Supreme Court got up a couple of times and put the injunction in place and tell the fellas who, these labor unions, you got to go back to work. They sure jump on that one very quickly. But what about something far more serious than that, which the court has in its hand? Over 1 year. And they've not set a court date yet. And we are a nation of laws. Give me a break, Bahamians. Give me a break. Being a nation of laws and not enforcing the laws and not giving justice, the lack of justice, is so apparent in some of the crappy things that are made, decisions that are being made. Because one fellow was on there and talking about two relatives, two children were crushed to death against a wall by a motorist. Person got 2 years in prison. You any crap like that? You see, some of these laws that we have are so outdated. Why are we sending people to Parliament to do what? What hope do we have, Bahamians? When these people are sitting in there arguing and pointing fingers at one another and talking foolishness and nonsense and not dealing with real hot topics that people are confronted with every single day of their lives. That can cause people who want to do the law, want to obey the law, it could compel people to take matters in their own hands. Because they don't have any faith in the investigations by the Royal Bahamas Police Force. They don't have any faith in the court system. Because we keep hearing about investigation. I'm sick and tired of that. Almost 52 years being an independent nation, we still have an investigation. Come on, give me a break, man. These people who have the resources of the nation of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and they can't show you one major criminal problem that they have solved. And we don't have to worry about that one no more. That one solved. Here are the benefits that we get as a result of that major criminal problem having been solved. In fact, Berenice told me none has been solved. None. But the police got all these initiatives. This initiative, that initiative, this plan, that plan. Give me a break, man. We heard that same story from successive commissioners in the office of commissioner. And they tell me they had the support of the government. So what the heck are you doing? And there's a simple matter that confronts the people of Fort Finn Castle that we have not gotten an answer from the police on it. And they can tell me I must trust them. Give me a break. I want to see some results. I don't trust people who tell me they did nothing wrong. I just don't. And I never will. Now, when you admit that you're wrong and you have violated the law against the Bahamian people and are prepared to say, yes, we were wrong on this particular matter, and are prepared to correct it, that it doesn't happen again. But don't tell me about trusting you. You trust people who have proven themselves to be trustworthy. There has to be a degree of trust because we're working with human beings. When we're organizing this event for the people of Fort Finn Castle, there has to be a degree of trust, but you got to have trustworthy people to deal with it. And the same thing applies to any other community. You can't have a bunch of hypocrites sitting running things and talk about trusting them. Give me a break, man. Come on, Bahamians. We're going into being our 52nd year as an independent nation. And we haven't gotten some basic fundamental things grounded yet. We should have been way ahead in improving the lifestyles of people in Fort Fincastle, in Centerville, but Centerville is a constituency, in Bain and Grantstown, in Fox Hill, and constituencies in the Family Islands, because they are worse than constituencies there. And yet we sit in all this slop and think we're making progress. We're making no progress. We see an acceleration of criminal activity. One just got killed last night. I mean, what are we saying? And these are young people, Bahamians. That means that one can't pay national insurance. So what's going to happen to these senior people who are depending on those checks? You want to keep cutting short your waking population? We got to keep these young men and young women. We got to help them, Bahamians. We got to help them to change from their wicked, evil, abominable ways. And they have to face that. And anyone who tells you anything to contrary, they're talking foolishness and nonsense. That's why I like to be straight up when I come on the airwaves. I too have issues that I need to check. Everyone has to do that. And as long as you keep saying you did nothing wrong, you ain't going to do no better. I don't expect nothing out of you. But we need people in authority, as the scripture tells us, when the righteous in authority, the people rejoice. So since we are a nation of laws, fine. Let's see the law being applied across the board, no matter who is at fault. You have to say, no, sir, no, ma'am. That's contrary to the law. We have to correct that. But then you got some who, as some callers call into the show, look like their cases could never be brought before the courts. They start, then they stop. And you see the inconsistencies by the system, the judiciary. You see it. So what the heck you expect us to do? People lose confidence in you because you're not consistent in carrying out the law. The police supposed to arrest people and bring them before the courts. Then the court's supposed to deal with them. And the crappy sentences they're giving out now, you ask yourself, well, where did they get this foolishness from? Less than 2 years or 2 years, 2 people dead, 1 woman lose her arm. Baby, this doesn't make any sense, That is why I say every single law from 1729 that has been passed in this country, every agreement that the governor of the Bahamas has been signing with all these people out there, and a lot of these agreements, we don't have no record of it. We are not seeing what has been signed. They don't discuss anything with you. Just like the people doing work in Fort Fincastle, they have not yet met with the people of Fort Fincastle, who are the real stakeholders. You had one gentleman from the AAMC, Cornish. Come right on the air talking foolishness and nonsense. But they got to move, because even though you got this one who might disagree with that, you ain't had no discussion with us in Fort Fincastle. Because they're the real stakeholders in Fort Fincastle, nobody else. And when you ain't meet with us, you ain't meet with nobody. And so you have a bunch of strangers and foreigners and aliens and outsiders making decisions for people who live in the community, who have not had one say. No say. Just shut us out. Ask them if they could do that in Lightfoot Key. Go in Lightfoot Key and set up shop and have no consultation with the people of Lightfoot Key. Ask them if they could go in Blair Estates and do that. Ask them if they could go in Old Fort Bay and do that. Ask them if they could go in Albany and do that. Huh? They get run straight in the ocean. But they think they could come in Fort Fincastle and throw crap on us and we supposed to accept it. The answer is no. I couldn't give a heck how good they think they are. As long as the people of Fort Fincastle have no input, it means nothing to us. Absolutely nothing. Because we got some real problems in there now as a result of the crap that they've been doing in that community. And it is hurting the residents of Fort Fincastle. And some of you in other communities and other constituencies have similar problems, but we got our share of problems. We got some new problems now. We got noise pollution. Day and night, around the clock, 7 days a week. What's going to happen when people lose their hearing? What protection do we have? They're going to have to change the laws relating to music. And these things have to be confined in a space which is soundproof. I think we have a caller, Mr. Producer. I think we have a call on the line. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Listening to you, I think you have a dilemma. Because I'll say, you have a MP in your constituency, as you say.
Yes, ma'am.
All of these things are happening around you. But he isn't coming or she isn't coming to have any meeting with the constituency to
That
hear
is correct.
y'all opinions.
Specifically, the people, specifically the people of Fort Fincastle. We are part of the Centerville constituency, but there has been no meeting with the real stakeholders. I had a Cornish man talking foolishness on the radio, and I called into the show, but the stupid host decided to cut me off and not allow me to speak. But I can deal with that one anyhow. But the point is, you have all kind of crappy people coming into Fort Fincastle, doing things, right? We are not involved in what's happening on the steps, what's happening with the tower, what's happening with the fort. 3 world-famous monuments right in our yard. And they come right in the yard where the stakeholders are, who have always lived there all their life. I was born in Fort Fincastle, grew up in Fort Fincastle, one of the leading citizens in Fort Fincastle. And I don't know anything about the crap they're doing up there. Okay? So I'm saying it straight. But here is a person from the AAMC getting on the air and talking about they got to hurry up and make a decision. But who are you talking to? It certainly ain't the people of Fort Fincastle. We are not in the planning. We have never been in any planning meetings. We have never been consulted on anything from the very time they started this foolishness. And we're supposed to sit back. We're supposed to sit back. Hold on, caller. We're supposed to sit back and take this crap from them. They got to be joking. Go ahead, caller.
But see, the problem becomes every time you see the House is meeting, Parliament is meeting, these representatives stand up and, they're representing the good people of this and the good people of that.
Yeah, they always use that crap.
Or the good people sent me here. So it is so false when they do that.
It is very false.
Because you don't have no meeting, no town hall meetings. They don't give you time to ask questions.
Yes, ma'am.
I've seen every time you ask a question or somebody say something about the government, Mr. Mitchell calls it that we're complaining. He don't think we should question our government on anything.
Okay.
As the chairperson for the PLP.
Yes.
And the other thing is, like you said, we're beginning to lose confidence in our judges.
Yeah, because the man just told us in that tape that I played, we're a nation of laws. Well, we have
Yes,
a
I
case
heard
right
him.
now. We have a case right now in the Supreme Court. It's been over a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very
Mm-hmm.
important matter that needs to be dealt with today, not tomorrow, not next week. And the court has not set a
But
date yet. Give me a
but
break.
Professor, that shows us right there.
Yes, it shows you.
Our courts are not serious because that's a case that is affecting our entire country.
Yes, the entire country.
You understand? But like you said, they could have quickly called and tell customs and immigration to go to
Get back
work
to work, yeah.
when they had their little strike.
Of course.
But here's this case that was filed back in February of last year,
That's correct.
and they can't get to calling that case.
It is a major matter that we filed.
These
in
people
the
are
court.
not serious.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, they're not serious, and I'm disappointed in Mr. Sayers.
Yes,
As
ma'am.
a constitutional lawyer, he knows this Nationality Act is a fraudulent to do.
Yes, ma'am.
He knows it, but they don't want to address it. You know, you address it and let the chips fall where they may.
That's right.
You know, it's our Constitution
Yes, ma'am.
that is speaking on behalf of the Bahamian people.
That's correct.
You know, but, you know, they just want things to continue the way it's going. They don't want to address all of these illegals in our country. You know, and that's from all over the world. We have them now.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
You know, you to say you're a Bahamian in the Bahamas, it's almost an insult.
It is. Because
We
you
got
have
all of these people from everywhere. We're outnumbered by these folks.
purporting to be Bahamian.
Yes, and then the government don't want to address the
No,
situation.
they're not addressing it. That's correct.
And we're supposed to be a country of law.
But the man just said that in this latest tape. We're a nation of laws.
It's laughable.
Huh?
It's laughable.
And the government itself is violating the law.
And he knows it. They all do. And they sit in Parliament, and none of them, woman or man, have a voice to stand up and say these things are wrong.
Exactly. See, the government
But
always.
they're gonna. They're
government-
gonna come around looking for votes,
Yes.
and our people just better act, each and every one of them. The question is that act law, and if what y'all was sitting by and allow it to happen, is it fair to the Bahamian people in our country?
Good questions. Yes. Those are very good questions. Yes.
I will continue to sit back. Always a pleasure to tune into the
Yes,
show.
ma'am. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And Bahamians, even though, we got another caller on the line. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Professor, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Good, good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And also to the Bahamas. I keep forgetting to mention the Bahamas. Love you people out there. God bless each and every one of you.
Yes.
Professor, the lady just called just now. My
Yes.
God, she's one of the real strong.
Yes, she is. I appreciate that. I need 150,000 like her.
Thank you very much.
Then we will
Every
get rid of
God.
all of this crap that is going on. And these fellas who are there now, they'd be out of office in a jiffy.
Exactly. The only one thing I don't like about her, though, when she talks about the woman's issues, that's maybe part company, but they say a clock is right 2 times a day. But other than that, she's always on point. Very
Yeah, she's
informative.
very good. Very good.
Very
yeah.
patriotic. And I
Yeah,
love
very
her.
patriotic,
And the
yeah.
reason why I called, because she mentioned something that you're talking about your constituency on a
Yes.
personal level.
Yes.
God bless you. Everyone should be concerned about their constituency.
Yes.
And she mentioned your representative.
That is correct.
Does he have a name?
Yes, he does.
Is it okay to mention it? Who's
Well,
the,
of course, you can mention it, yes.
who is that? I don't know, really.
Mr. Jomo Campbell, he's the representative for Centerville.
But he's not that known, very well known. To me, I
Okay,
could think of.
well, maybe that may be so, because I haven't known of him coming into Fort Fincastle and having a meeting with the people of Fort Fincastle
Exactly, like she said about the town halls. Yes.
on what is happening in Fort Fincastle itself.
Yes.
He has never been there, because if he was there, I would have known.
Yes,
Because
sir.
the people that tell me and keep me up to date on everything.
Absolutely, and that's what I always. I'm always mentioning the fact that a political party, red or yellow,
Yes.
so far, they're the only colors we've been dealing with since
Yes.
orange, the UBP.
Yes.
They always plaster somebody's face in your community and say, "Oh, this is our party's representative, and this is who you should vote for."
Yes.
Never heard of the guy before.
Never heard of him.
You know what I mean? And when he gets in, he disappears.
Disappears.
But
Yes.
we're paying him $2,000 per week.
Yeah, good money too.
Isn't that their thing? Like 100,000 or
I think it's 150,000. They say.
yeah, so it's plus $2,000 per week,
Yes.
and then all the perks that comes along with
Oh,
them.
plenty perks.
Absolutely, that will last you if you're lucky. That'll make you a millionaire by the time you leave.
Yes.
And if you're lucky enough, like Vaughn Miller, you get pension.
Yeah, and then the thing is that they have other positions in government. You will notice on the governing side with the 32, all of them got a position.
Exactly.
All the senators got either chairman of one board or chairman of a couple of boards.
Hey,
I mean, it's
oh yeah,
overlapping.
oh yeah.
And the prime minister himself has created all kind of new boards, all kind of different authorities.
Yes.
This country is so littered with authorities and boards and committees, and this one is chairman, and then you got others under them. It's a whole hodgepodge of positions, and money is being paid out to these people from the public treasury. Do we need
That's
all of
why
that?
I would want. I could listen to you all day, Professor. You always on point. But when we start to lose money for no productivity,
No productivity, yes.
should we assume that there's corruption?
Well, let's put it this way. If it is not constitutionally sound, see, I like to stick rigidly with the Constitution.
Absolutely.
Anything that is not constitutionally sound. Did you hear the man say on the tape, "We a nation of laws"?
Exactly.
Well, then, if you're violating the law, what does that tell you?
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll leave it at that.
And if it's not going right, Professor, what I mean when I say corruption, people always get the impression that bribery, nepotism, and all those kind of stuff, right? But, Professor, if you have an issue with a computer program on your computer,
yes,
a message will come up and say, either you're outdated or this file is corrupt.
Okay.
It doesn't mean anything happened. It's just not working with the Constitution.
That's right.
You're corrupt. So the words corruption and corrupt sounds so, oh my God, take him out and put him in jail or shoot him or something like that. No, it's just corrupt. And corruption could start from the slightest.
Yes.
When your car is, you could hear an issue starting in your car. And you start up the car every day and you just drive the car.
Yes.
And the car keeps telling you, with signs and signals, something is being compromised in that engine.
Yes.
And if you're smart enough, you'll get out there and find a mechanic and fix it.
Of course.
Before it becomes totally compromised or corrupt,
yes.
that you have to change it. And I think that's what the Bahamas is going through.
No, we are going through that because there has been no real, genuine change.
Yes, sir.
You look at these constituencies. Just look at them. Look at Centerville. Look at Bain and Grantstown. Look at Fox Hill. Have you seen?
Absolutely.
Have you seen where the people in these constituencies are rejoicing over anything? Where's the rejoicing? Because Scripture tells me when the righteous are in authority, something happens. The people rejoice.
Yes.
Where's the rejoicing? We
Yeah,
just
well,
we just had a criminal act on Fleming Street where someone was murdered last night.
oh my God.
So the thing is that you have to ask yourself, what kind of people do we have running this place?
Absolutely.
Are they righteous or are they wicked?
Absolutely.
And no one has been able to answer that for me. Because I asked someone who's been a constituency for 40 years, he don't know whether there are righteous people in it. I say, stop talking foolishness. I know whether there are righteous people in Fort Castle. I could tell you that right off the top. I know whether there are righteous people in Centerville or wicked people in Centerville. Of course. And I try to get people to understand, even with solving one major constituency problem, the people themselves have to change in order for that change to be permanent.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, sir. Yes,
See, the thing is, like I said, 51% or more of the people in a given constituency must become righteous in their dealings one with another. You can't expect a constituency to change with wicked people in it. It is not going to work. And if the people have no character, no decency, no morality about them, it will not work.
Well, Professor, the attributes you just outlined of the people in the constituency, if your representative and I don't know if he's a part of the cabinet or not.
Yes, he is.
Okay, and the prime minister himself, if they don't have those attributes you just outlined just now,
yes,
what is the use of the individuals who live in Fort Castle to be that way?
Okay, I accept that. But the point is, see, even though, and I hear the music in the background, the point is that those of us who know better, there's a standard that the Constitution sets. National commitment to discipline. National commitment to the rule of law. We're to
Absolutely.
be a
Professor,
nation.
before I go, I want to make a point. I never made my point, and I know you got to go to the break right now, so I'll make it real quick. Professor, we're living in a dictatorship. Now, we can argue that another time, or probably even call it back to finish after the break. But, Professor, once you live in a dictatorship, like I think Mr. Hyler outlined, not technically, not lawfully, but your representative from Fort Castle, just like the Robinson guy, just like the
Caller, I have to go to a break. If you don't,
Yes.
if you could hold on if you want to, because I have to move to a break.
I will have finished.
My producer is being very patient with me.
Thank you very much.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We are due for a break. I apologize for the lateness, but we have to go to a break. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Do you love fresh flowers at low prices? If so, come into Pedal Pusher's Elegant Florist, your event planner. We can't wait to help you with that perfect bouquet or basket for that special person, or book us for your significant life event. We specialize in decorating yachts, weddings, proms, funeral events, and so much more. Create that smile by visiting us on Bay Street, opposite the old Hotel Corona, or call us at 326-2663 and place your order today.
Bahamian feel-good food in the right atmosphere. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever you choose. It's the Cricket Club Restaurant at Haynes Point, West Bay Street. The food is off the chain. Bahamian breakfast. We talking stew cow, stew fish, and sheep tongue sauce. And for lunch, crab soup, okra soup, and pea soup and dumpling. Man! And for dinner, they got mahi seafood platter or steak and shrimp. Only $28.95 per person. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Cricket Club Restaurant. Call 326-4720 for reservations. Oh, and don't forget, there's a live band, The Magic Touch, every Friday night. See
Wise
you
Bahamian
there.
shoppers know when times are hard and things are tough, It's more sensible and convenient to shop at YK's Fashion Center. YK's has slashed prices on brand name clothing and shoes by up to 50%, including academics, Clark, Polo, and hundreds of jeans and dicky pants. And as much as 70% on selected items. Choose from a large selection of beds, sheets, rugs, and towels, all at affordable prices. YK's has 3 locations to serve you: Bahama Avenue, Prince Charles, and East Street South near the Charles Hotel. YK's, where you can afford to look good.
Hey, Shoe Depot has what you and your wallet need. They are stuffed with stylish and exciting footwear, handbags, wallets, and accessories for all occasions. Shoes for the professional, casual, cute and glitzy, skid resistant, and ultra comfortable for those long work days. Shoe Depot has got you. Oh, and be sure to join our Shoe Depot Rewards Club for extra savings and earn points for special benefits. Visit either of our 2 locations, Golden Gate Plaza or the Palmdale Plaza. At Shoe Depot, you'll find the best selection of the best styles and at the best prices.
Steve Harvey here from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Everybody knows that I love to chill out with great music. There's only one place you can get this. Tonight at 7 p.m.
As soon as you clock off from work, make sure you lock right into me. I'm Lenny Green from The Quiet Storm, inviting you to come on over. I've got all of that R&B ear candy that you love. Plus, we'll engage in conversations inside of Confessions of Love and so much more. And you never know who's going to drop by. It's The Quiet Storm, all getting underway tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on Global 99.5. I'm Lenny Green from The Quiet Storm. Keep it moving.
From East Street to Blue Hill Road, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. And let me just say to the Bahamian people, we're going to have to set up a committee to examine all of these things that the government of the Bahamas has passed from 1729 right on up to today. Because we have to know, and they pass all kinds of laws, we have to know whether these things, and all these agreements, all of these things they've signed with different nations, we have to examine everything, Bahamians, and see whether it is constitutionally sound. I can't waste no time go into a court to ask them on every single thing. No. The Constitution tells me whether it's constitutionally sound or not. Now, some cases you got to take before the court because some people are stubborn. That's a whole horse of a different color. But I'm not going to be sitting up waiting for one judge or some person who they say they're legally trained, don't know the heck what they're talking about, to tell me whether this law or that law, and they got all kinds of funny laws around here. I use the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which is the supreme law. Anything that is contrary to that is null and void. I don't need no judge to tell me that. I don't need any magistrate to tell me that. I don't need any minister of the government to tell me that. The Constitution tells me that. Caller, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Professor, I'll make it quick because I know you got to go.
Yeah.
But why hang on to tell you or to ask you? Actually, you're the constitutional professor. We are not a dictatorship. That's clear. That's a rhetorical question I'm asking you. But we conduct ourselves as one. Because I remind you of Mr. Minnis when he did something, and Mr. Robinson, the young man, and the preacher, Mr. Miller, Reverend Miller.
Juan Miller, yes.
Yeah, they were both reprimanded, and I think even Dr. Dwayne Sands was something he did. But I think what he did was against the law during the pandemic, and even even the pandemic itself was questionably a dictatorship move.
Okay, all right.
So that's what I want to say. And I think these are all signs of corruption. When I say corruption, like I said, I'm not talking about bribery or money or just, I'm just talking about the way we conduct ourselves according to the Constitution.
Okay.
And I think the word dictatorship, because I went to a meeting the other day, and that was the only thing no one said in the meeting. The same young man who was on your show, Mr. Thurston there.
Yes.
I went to his meeting the other day. As a matter of fact, your name was mentioned. You were supposed to be there, but I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But everybody, it was on the tip of everybody's tongue, but no one mentioned that not so much that the Bahamas is a dictatorship, but the way we make these demagogues.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we have done
thank
that.
you very much for allowing me.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We have done it to every person who's in the office of Prime Minister, even with this one we have now. They become demigods. From Pinling straight on through. We had 5 of them in there, 5 demigods. And we fail to realize these are mere mortal men who can make mistakes. Okay? I don't know of any single one of them who's ever admitted to making mistakes to the Bahamian people. Because I keep hearing from this current administration, we have done nothing wrong. That in itself is a serious violation of law. We have to face the harsh reality for what it's the kind of people you got running things. The man can talk crap about they did nothing wrong. Then in this latest tape, he's saying we're a nation of laws. And his own government is violating the Constitution. You know that for a fact. We have hardcore evidence to prove it. I don't want nobody talking no foolishness in my ears. You can go and check the evidence yourself. How many of you are prepared to do that? And to stand up for what is right. The Constitution of this country will always be right. It is never, ever wrong. Get that into your psyche, Bahamians. The Holy Bible is always right. It is never, ever wrong. And this country was built on the foundation of the Holy Scriptures and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's your foundation, Bahamians. Check your preamble. This gives you the vision and the purpose for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And we have departed from that. Our leaders who were given the authority to do good have departed from it. Are you afraid to say that? Come on, Bahamians, we got to do better than that. We have to tell them when they're wrong, and you also tell them when they're right. But you got plenty wrongs that have been occurring, 50 years plus, and still doing wrong. So anytime when you hear people say they did nothing wrong, that is a serious violation of constitutional law. Serious violation. Because you have human beings who will admit, who will make mistakes. They're feet of clay, Bahamians. And they got carnal minds. And the carnal mind is enmity against God. We don't want to even listen to God. I think we have a call on the line. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay.
You all right?
Well, I'm doing okay.
Listen, the first time the representative for Pinewood, when he came, his wakers come, and I said, I don't want to see you all, to help us wake with him.
Yes, ma'am.
I said, I want to see him. Well, we didn't see him, but he came around here,
yes.
I think last year, and he talked to me, and, he's supposed to help me with, to do some things for me, but
yes,
he
ma'am.
never come through.
Yes, ma'am.
And, he gets him a different job, I don't know how he can handle,
Well, the representative is supposed to look out for the interests of the constituents.
They don't do that for us, man. They don't do that for us. They do. The next place will come around, they got to talk to me, man. I don't want to talk to nobody who wake up with him.
Well, I don't blame you because you see the same thing with Fort Castle. We haven't seen the representative. I don't know of him having any meetings there. We have all kinds of space in Fort Castle where you could have a meeting.
With him. I don't want them come around here and talk about they work with him. I don't see, hey, who wakes, who. But I already saw the guy was running here. Anyhow, he ready be here to talk to me. So that's very nice.
You mean the current representative?
Huh?
The current representative?
No, the one who will run for Pinewood.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he was saying twice to me.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yes, ma'am.
He bring one lady with him, and he was nice and come here and talk to me.
Yes, ma'am.
But the other one I don't see him.
I don't see him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's put it this way. I always ask people, what do you expect from a representative?
Professor, if they do something with Pinewood Garden flooding, that's what they want to do.
But that one could get fixed by the constituents of Pinewood Gardens.
Huh?
The constituents of Pinewood Gardens can fix that. It takes the collective will of a people to make it happen. But if people...
those smart talk around here talking about what they can do. I don't hear that.
But I don't blame you. But see, the thing is, I say to the people, Article 24.1, we have some issues right in Fort McCastle, which is only a part of Centerville, because other areas have their problems as well. But we got some new problems in there, which we didn't have before, but we have it now. And I'm not happy with that. And so we have got to get those problems resolved, and we will get them resolved.
Professor?
Yeah.
If the people of Pinewood got to get serious, I can be serious, okay?
Say that again. I didn't hear that.
Okay?
Say.
I got 32 years. I can talk for myself. I ain't talk for everybody.
Okay, I understand that.
Business.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that. You should express your view, and you would tell whoever is coming in there what you think and how you feel, and this is the way it should be. Are you still there, caller?
Huh?
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
make your point. Go ahead, make your point.
No, I'm just saying, Ben said when they come around now, I want to see the place was running. I already saw the guy was running here. He already beat me twice, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I told him, don't come to here like no bush forget. Don't do that.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's understandable. Yeah.
All right, sir.
Okay, thanks very much. Yeah. Let me just see if I could add something to what the caller is saying. In order for a constituency problem to resolve, you need the overwhelming support of the constituents in that particular constituency. All right? Otherwise, it may not happen. You have to understand the way the system is to operate. Article 24.1 talks about people coming together. It's a common problem. Flooding in Pinewood Gardens affects everybody in Pinewood Gardens. If you can get 51% or more of the registered constituents in that constituency to say, yes, we're going to work on that particular problem in Pinewood, they could solve that in 18 months. That's a simple matter to deal with. All this wasting of time, the woman say 32 years, come on, man. This doesn't make any sense. And you have similar problems in other constituencies. And while she will talk for herself, that's fine. But it's not an individual thing. That's what I'm trying to get people to see. If it's just a problem that affects you in your yard and nobody else, fine. But it doesn't work that way, not with this flooding thing. That affects everybody in Pinewood. And don't wait till the ground open. I even forgot to even talk about SpaceX. We're going to have to probably talk about that tomorrow, because the people in Ragged Island and some other places, the ground shook. Thunder. I mean, loud noises. People's houses could be damaged. Who's going to pay for those damages? Just because you ain't see the crack yet? Or when the ground can sink in? You ain't see it sinking yet? All of those things have negative impact on the lives of people. And where's your insurance for this? This foolishness was going on now. I have to stop now because my time is up. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. I have to continue this conversation tomorrow with my guest who's coming in tomorrow. And we have some serious issues, Bahamians. Please get serious, okay? I want you to call me, 325-8652 at National Affairs. You can call me at the station here. The numbers I gave are 3260271, 3260272, 8130271, and my new email, the state of the nation 242 at gmail.com. The state of the nation 242 at gmail.com. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening and participating in the show. Have a pleasant evening.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.